Hello, and my talk is about why your certificate should not run out on a Friday, and it has a complex story behind of it. So a little bit about me. I am from Luna, which is a bank. I am an organizer in Cloud Native Nordics in Aalborg, and I've worked with the different aspects of IT for the past 16 years-ish, and 6 of those has been in the banking segment. So the story is that we had an application in a galaxy far, far away where this partner integration had a certificate that was about to expire on the Friday night, and we needed to start debugging. So how do we actually get TCP dump to work in a cloud KDS environment? That is the hard part, right? So we were forced the application to a new host, started an SSH channel, and then began debugging the traffic. But we had a service mesh, so we had the realization that our service mesh and SSL couldn't be sniffed from this perspective. So we didn't have any application data. It was just encrypted. No-brainer. We should have thought of that from the beginning, right? So the partner came back, luckily, after a couple of hours and said, we fixed it. It was an intermediate certificate that was missing in the trust chain. So we got that going. It wasn't our side, but we needed to get out of the fire, right? So the problem was our container images are secure. We can't install TCP dump. And we did our investigations if we were running behind a huge corporate firewall and our servers were insecure in the basement. That was part of it, right? So it's no big secret that we are running Linkerd as a service mesh, and that was the first part we really got wrong. And we should have been close to the service as it came from the same pod network, actually. And you can do that with T-Shark. And T-Shark is a command line tool that does the same thing as Wireshark, if you don't know it. It can analyze these captured TCP dump packages. And to our advantage, T-Shark is actually part of the Linkerd debug container. And since we're running Linkerd, that is an advantage. So we needed the sidecar, as Linkerd is a sidecar proxy, in order to view the encrypted data in the pod. And Linkerd simply provides that for us. So for all non-service meshed things, there are plenty of network tools that you can use as a sidecar. So as a platform team, we really made it. We got the data as the developers needed. But the next question was, how can we automate this for our developers? Because we want them to do the same as we do. So there are different scenarios and different tools for the job. There are kubectl plugins, and there are also other containers you can run. So if you're using a service mesh, this typically provides an option for you. So Ksniff is a kubectl plugin that you can use. It allows you to Wireshark the network traffic on a specific pod by pushing this binary into the pod. But this requires a lot of privilege access, and it's not production ready. So be careful. Netshot is another tool that's open source. You can find it on GitHub. It runs a sidecar to your pod, and it contains multiple network debugging tools, several of which I have never heard about, and I've even worked with Linux for years. So that was a high moment for me. So for secure applications, you can, without a service mesh or insecure, you can use these Ksniff or Netshot, or find a different method that works for you. But you need to do that in order to get the data. And since Linkerd provides this out-of-the-box sidecar, if you run Linkerd, you can use it when your pod starts up. You can enable it by using kubectl logs or kubectl exec, but you need to do it in the deployment. That's part of it. And for Istio, there's also a method to sniff traffic, but this option is a proxy privilege that needs to be set when you install it. So you really you need to add this before, and if you run into the issue on GitHub, you will see that a lot of people write this specific command to install it. So key takeaways. You can decrypt application data within a service mesh, even on a Friday afternoon, which we were doing, and a bit horrible at it, actually. So that's the first key takeaway, at least. The second takeaway is that you don't need to run your Kubernetes insecure just because it's convenient. There's always a way through this kind of darkness that you're in. You don't need to don't need to be insecure. It's really, you shouldn't go there. And the third key takeaway is, like I said before, we really want to automate this for our developers, because that gives a good developer experience, and you can shift the workloads from the platform team towards the developers. That's it. Thank you, and have a great conference.